Om. 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 Sairam. Just to recollect where we were last week, we are in the chapter 26 of Geetha Vahini, and Swami is talking about the way in which we can overcome the Asuri tendencies or the demonic tendencies in us. As Arjuna has asked Lord Krishna how we can go about it, and Krishna is explaining that we should take care of our food. So that's what we have been discussing. Swami has been very specific in many areas. And I think we discussed whether it's really essential or we could accommodate now and then others without offending people and so on. I think that was the topic of discussion last week. So I will continue from where we left off. I will ask sisters to read where we were.
The mind should be free from anxiety and worry, hate and fear, greed and pride. It should be saturated with love for all beings. It has to dwell in God. It has to be restrained from pursuing objective pleasures. No lower thought should be allowed to creep in. All thoughts must be directed towards the elevation of the individual to higher planes. This is the proper tapas of the mind, or manas. Now for the physical tapas. Use the body and its strength and capabilities for the service of others, for the worship of the Lord, for the singing of His glory, for visiting places hallowed by His name, for regulated exercises in breath control, for holding the senses away from deleterious paths, and for treading the path of God. The service of the sick and the distressed, the observance of moral codes, and such beneficial acts must make it sacrosanct. Vocal tapas too has to be engaged in. Avoid talking too much. Desist from false statements. Do not take delight in backbiting and scandal mongering. Never speak harshly. Speak soft and sweet. Speak with the memory of Madhava, ever in the background of the mind. Of these three, physical tapas, mental tapas, and vocal tapas, even if one is absent, the Atmic effulgence, Atma Jyoti, cannot radiate light. The lamp, the wick, and the oil are all essential for a light. The body is the lamp, the mind is the oil, and the tongue is the wick. All three must be in good trim.
Thank you, Kalyani. Sairam Auntie, maybe we'll read the Telugu.
Sairam. మనస్సున ఎట్టి విచారమును పెట్టుకొనక సకల ప్రాణులకు ఎల్లప్పుడూ మేలు కోరుచుండవలెను. Sorry.
Okay, so Swami is saying, in the mind, we should not keep any form of sadness or worry, and we should have love, I guess, for all the beings in this world.
You can say
for the welfare. Well-being of all the welfare.
Sorry, Uncle, we should have the well-being of all. Can you say that last part?
So we should have the well-being of all the beings in this world at all times.
At all times. ఎల్లప్పుడు పరమాత్మ పరమాత్మను మననము చేయుచుండవలెను.
We should be continuously remembering or recollecting the Paramatma, the Supreme Lord.
ఇతర విషయములపై పరుగెత్తు చిత్తమును స్వాధీనం అందించుకొని
We should keep it under our control, the mind which tends to run after other things.
పవిత్ర భావములను మాత్రమే మనస్సున కలిగి ఉండవలెను.
We should have only sacred feelings in our mind alone.
ఇట్టి దానిని మనోతపమని అందురు.
This is called the tapas of the mind, mental tapas.
ఇక శారీరక తపస్సు.
Then the bodily tapas, physical tapas.
పరోపకార కార్యములలో పాల్గొనుట,
To take part in the activities which are meant for the upliftment of others or helping others.
పరమాత్మ పూజ, భజన, ప్రదక్షిణ, ఆసన, బ్రహ్మచర్య, ప్రాణాయాములతో పవిత్రము చేయుట.
Also making it auspicious or sacred through worship of the Paramatman, bhajana, circumambulation, doing asanas, with following brahmacharya or celibacy, and also pranayam.
దీనులకు రోగులకు సేవ చేయుట.
We should be serving those who are downtrodden or people who are sick.
సదాచార ప్రవర్తనలతో దేహమును పవిత్రమును చేయుట.
To keep the body busy in all good activities, through that purifying the body.
ఇత్యాది సత్కర్మల కొరకు దేహమును వినియోగించుకొనవలెను.
Such good activities should be the ones to which the body has to be made use of.
అతి భాష లేకుండుట.
Without speaking a lot, too much.
అనృతములాడకుండట.
Without telling lies.
చాడీలు చెప్పకుండుట.
Without gossiping about others.
చాడీ అంటే క్యారింగ్ టేల్స్.
Carrying tales, gossip.
చాడీ చెప్పేది. చాడీలు చెప్పకుండుట, పరులను దూషించకుండుట.
Without blaming others or talking ill of others.
కఠినోక్తులాడకుండట.
Without talking harshly.
మధురమైన పలుకులు మాధవ స్మరణలతో వాక్కులను పవిత్రము చేయుచుండుట.
The speech should be purified through sweet words and the remembrance of the Lord.
ఇదే వాక్ తపస్సు అనబడును.
This is called the tapas of the speech.
ఇట్లు మనోవాక్కాయములను ఉత్తమమైన మార్గమున వినియోగించిన నిజమైన తపస్సుననుడు.
Thus, if mind, speech, and the body, manovakka, should be taken in the higher path. That is called the real tapas.
ఇందులో ఏ ఒకటి పవిత్రము కాకపోయినను,
among these, even if one is not sacred or pure,
అనగా మనో తపస్సు గాని, శారీరక తపస్సు గాని, వాక్ తపస్సు గాని,
that means either the mental tapas or the bodily tapas or the tapas of the speech,
పవిత్రముగా లేకుండినా,
if they are not pure or sacred,
ఆత్మ జ్యోతి ప్రకాశించదు.
the flame of Atman will not be effulgent.
ఎట్లనా దీపము వెలిగించుటకు పత్తి నూనె ప్రమిద ఎట్లు అవసరమో,
just the way for us to light the lamp, we need the wick, the oil, and the vessel.
Yet how necessary they are. Atulane Dehamo Pramida.
In the same way, the body is the vessel or the patra.
Lamp we can say.
The lamp dish.
Manassu Nune.
The mind is the oil.
Vaku Vatti.
The speech is the wick.
ఈ మూడింటి సమ్మేళనమే జ్యోతి ప్రకాశమునకు మూలాధారము.
The coming together of these three is the basis or the support for the effulgent, I don't know, the lighting of the lamp.
That's it.
That's So Swami has, from food, he has now moved on to the three kinds of tapas which we will have to practice to overcome the demonic tendencies. And Swami is listing each of them out: the mind, the body, and the speech, and the activities in which they should be kept occupied. So I'll stop here. If anyone would like to share any thoughts or observation, please do so.
So the first sentence was saying that in the mind we should not keep any form of sadness or worry, and we
Yes.
should have in our mind at all times the well-being of all beings.
Yeah, the upliftment of all the being. Meluko means, the upliftment also, you can say. The well-being or upliftment of all beings. Melukotna means to wake them up or make them rise.
Oh.
Or something like that. Sorry, Auntie. Auntie, that's okay. Auntie, you are at unmute.
మేలున ఓన్లీ వెల్ బీయింగ్ వాళ్ళ మేలు కోరుతున్నాను.
Okay.
ఐఎమ్ ప్రేయింగ్ ఫర్ దర్ వెల్ఫేర్. మేలు కోరేది.
Anyone else would like to say anything, please?
For the second one, when Swami saying paropakara, is he defining paropakara by those things like bhajana, asana, pradakshina, or is he saying
No. పరోపకార్యములలో పాల్గొనుట. Taking part in the welfare of others. Upakaram, helping or serving, taking part in that service.
Help ever. And that's what it is.
Help ever.
Yes.
And then, so the next few things like puja, bhajana, pradakshina, those are also good things to do with the body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sairam, what is the question? Sorry, I have just joined.
So the question, sister, is a few weeks ago, Arjuna had asked how to overcome the demonic tendencies in us. So for that, Sri Krishna first talked about food, that we had to pay attention to the type of food we eat and the type of cleanliness we should have in terms of the material, the people who cook, and the vessels used. So that Swami explained in different words. And then thereafter, now he has come to the practice of tapas through word, in the mind, physically in the body, and also in the speech. And that's what we are reading now. So at the moment, the three kinds of tapas or penances being described by the Lord, which will help us overcome the demonic nature in us. I guess rather simple for everyone understands. Maybe that's no questions. Or no comments also, I guess.
Unmute, Kalyani. Unmute. We didn't hear you what you were
Oh,
saying.
sorry. I was just saying for sorry, going back to that first sentence of physical tapas. So Swami saying you can make the body sacred by doing paropakara, puja, bhajana, all these things. Is that?
Yeah, Swami has listed quite a few. The first one is paropakara karyam. That means all activities which are aimed at the welfare of others. Okay, we should take part in them. And then we should do Paramatma Puja, that means worship of the Lord. Bhajana, Pradakshina means circumambulation. Asanas, practicing yoga asanas to keep the body in good trim. Then Brahmacharya, that's practicing celibacy. Pranayama, which is the practice of pranayama.
Breath
Through
control.
with these, we should purify the body.
Okay.
I think if
Yeah.
everyone is okay, maybe we should move on. Because these are very simple instructions Swami has given. I think we can all practice.
Some pious people consider that acts of charity are also physical tapas. It is good that they think so. But when doing charity, one has to do so after pondering over the place, the time, and the nature of the recipient. For example, charities for schools should be given at places where there are no schools until then. Hospitals have to be established in areas where diseases are rampant. The hunger of people has to be appeased where famine conditions have been caused by floods or drought. The nature and condition of the recipient has to be considered while imparting teaching of Dharma and Brahma Vidya, and while doing service of various kinds. The charitable act that removes from a person the deficiency that is most harmful to his progress is called sattvic. Krishna, Arjuna interrupted. May I ask a question here? Charity, however done, is charity, is it not? Why do you distinguish between sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic? Are there any such? Krishna answered, of course there are. Among those who donate for charities, most are anxious to get name and fame. That is the motive for the act. They are after something in return for what they offer. Very few desire the grace of the Lord and nothing else. Gifts made without one end in view, to receive the grace of the Lord, are sattvic. Gifts made expecting something in return, like fame and publicity, public esteem and power, or made in a huff, or made reluctantly under pressure. These are to be classed as rajasic.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll read the Telugu.
Sairam. కొందరు ఆస్తికులు దాన ధర్మాదులు కూడాను దేహ తపస్సుగా భావించరు.
Some people, some devotees actually, who consider the charitable activities are also as the tapas of the body.
మంచిదే. అయితే దేశకాల పాత్రమును అనుసరించి కూడాను దానము చేయవలను.
That is good. However, they should be performed after taking into consideration the place, time, and the the recipients.
ఎట్లన ఏ ప్రదేశమున విద్యా విధానము లేక కష్టపడుచుందురో
How it is that wherever there is no schools available, where education facilities are not available, and people are suffering.
అచ్చట పాఠశాలను ఆరోగ్యహీనులై రోగ పీడితులై బాధపడు ప్రదేశములందు ఆరోగ్య సౌకర్యములు కలిగించుట.
So to establish schools where there are no schools, and to establish hospitals where people are suffering from diseases and there are no health facilities available.
అతివృష్టి అనావృష్టులచే అల్లాడు వార్లకు ఆకలి దప్పులను తీర్చి ఆదుకొనవలెను.
Where there is flood or drought, in such places, to do activities which will help maintain their health and their comfort. Oh, sorry. No. We should do whatever has to help them deal with their hunger.
Yeah.
and diseases.
Yeah. అతివృష్టి అనావృష్టులచే ఆల్లాడు వార్లకు ఆకలి దప్పి thirst and
thirst. Okay, sorry. Thirst to help with the thirst.
You have to help them. బ్రహ్మ విద్య ధర్మ ప్రబోధనలు పరోపకార ప్రవర్తనలు పాత్రత చూచి నేర్పవలెను.
Looking at the recipient, distributing Brahma Vidya and teachings of dharma, and also conduct of helping others. This also has to be done.
అట్లు విచారణ చేసి దేనియందు ఏ వ్యక్తి శక్తిహీనమై వ్యతనందుచుండునో.
Thus we have to inquire and find out who is suffering from what, the lack of what.
అట్టివానికి అవసరమైన దానిని ఇచ్చుట సాత్విక దానమని అందురు.
For such person, giving them what is really necessary, that is called sattvic charity.
కృష్ణ దానం ఎట్టు చేసినో దానమే కదా.
Krishna, if charity is performed, whatever is done, isn't it charity?
అందులో సాత్వికము రాజసికము తామసికమని మార్పులు వేరే ఉన్నావా?
Are there distinction in terms of sattvic, rajasic and tamasic?
సో బావా లేకేమి దానము చేయు వరలో ఎక్కువ మంది ప్రతిఫలాపేక్ష చేయుచుందురు.
My dear brother-in-law, why not? Many people who are doing charity are doing due to their desire for some benefit from it.
కొంతమంది మాత్రమే భగవత్ కటాక్షమునే ప్రతిఫలాపేక్షగా భావించుచుందురు.
Only a few consider the grace of the Lord as the only benefit from these activities.
భగవద్ అనుగ్రహ ఫలమును కోరి చేయు దానము సాత్వికమే అగును.
The charity which is done seeking the blessings of the Lord is sattvic.
అట్లు కాక ప్రత్యుపకారమును ఆశించియో పేరు ప్రతిష్టను పొందగోరియో.
Instead of that, if seeking something in return or benefit in return, or doing something for the sake of name and fame,
లేక 10 మంది దానపరుడని తలంచుటకై మెప్పునకు,
so or hoping that a few people, 10-20 people think that we are great charitable individuals,
అందరి ముందు ఇచ్చి తదుపరి పరితపించుటయో,
or giving it in front of others and then later on regretting,
లేక మన క్లేశము వలనను ఇచ్చిన దానము రాజసికమందురు.
or feeling pressured to give, or being troubled inside in the mind and then doing charity, these are called Rajasic charity.
Satkara Purvak Mukaka.
I think that is not still
Oh,
read.
not it done. Yeah, Rajasic.
Sairam, everyone. So Swami is now talking about charity and how it should be done, where it should be done, how it should be done, to whom it should be done, what should be the intention, and to make sure that it's all sattvic. So he's clearly explaining to us. So I'll stop here. Anyone would like to share any thought?
Swami is insisting that, Patrata, the recipient, we have to give charity to a proper, deserving recipient. Whatever view, for example, Brahma Vidya, Dharma Prabodha, or some helping other service activities, it should be done knowing fully well that person to whom you are giving, it is benefiting him and he is going to use it in a proper way. That is very important. Tamil kuda patramarindu pichaidu, I think they say, no?
Yes, sir.
Patramarindu pichaidu.
Thank you. I think Sister Shilpa wanted to say something, it looked like.
Sai Ram, the purpose of charity is also important. When we give charity, we should not consider like ourselves selfless. Like when when we do charity, we don't even take tax receipt. And like it's good to take it, but we are not considering, because if I see that, and it will remind me that I have done this. But if I want to be selfless, sometimes I do cash donations. So even I don't remember, or it will not ever show on my screen that I have done this charity. And plus, I learned from my father, like when he did charity, no one from our family knew that how much he was doing. After he passed away, people came and told us, and he did charity to ladies' hostel or some temples or some poor people, like giving dowry to poor people's daughter, or during the wedding reception, providing food from his side. All those things we came to know after he passed away. Like he was doing so much and we did not even know. And from that, I learned that if I knew, I could have inspired by that too. So I learned that I should tell my kids what I am doing. So in future, if they are capable of doing something, they will also follow our footsteps. That's what we are trying to do. And the best charity, your time, for elders who cannot walk, who has hard time in breathing, walking, even in the hospital. If we see so many people need our time, if we have time, instead of watching TV or entertaining ourselves, if we put that time to those people, it will be a blessing for us and it will be very helpful for them. Saira.
Thank you very much, sister. Saira, anyone else would like to share anything?
Charity need not be in the form of only money. We have come across just now, Shilpa told, and time also is very important. If we can give that time to somebody who is in need, helping them that itself is a great charity.
Thank you, Auntie. Yes, Brother Tasan.
Yes, Sairam, brother. Even if we take charity, the person who is going to do the charity is supposed to do some homework. Without the homework, you are not supposed to blindly do a charity. It could be some organization, temple, church, doesn't matter. Even the person, individual person or group of people. You have to do some homework, study, then you do the charity. That will be helpful. Otherwise, you are making that organization or the group of people uh, moving to a wrong direction, and you are part of that after that. Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
That Taitari Upanishad, the Shraddhaya Deyam, Priya Deyam. And what else? I think it is one more thing is
Sambhida Deyam.
Vidadeyam. Yeah, those advices are very, very apt here. Swami is also saying the same thing.
Yes, Auntie.
These all come under the category of sattvic charity.
Yes.
This sentence in the English, the charitable act that removes from a person the deficiency that is most harmful to his progress is called sattvic. Is that similar to what the Telugu says?
Yes, Swami has
A person, the deficiency that is most harmful to his progress is called sattvic. That I think...
I don't think there's anything specific like that Swami has said.
No, I don't think so. Maybe this sentence, Atlu vicharana chesi deniyandu ye vikti shaktihinamai వ్యథనందు చుండునో అట్టివానికి అవసరమైన దాన్ని ఇచ్చుట సాత్విక దానం. Yes, correct. You are correct, Kalyani. That sentence is there in Telugu.
So the same sort of meaning is conveyed there?
Yeah.
See, I think in the English it says
charitable act, that's what she read, no? The last.
Yes, sir. Nothing else gift made with that something made exist.
Last sentence in the first paragraph.
Yeah, before Krishna's question, before Arjuna's question, what's I think that's where it comes up in English.
The charitable act that removes from a person the deficiency,
yeah,
most harmful to his progress is called sattvic.
Yeah.
But here, it's not the translation. Progress is not.
Yeah, that's an Auntie,
progress is not in Telugu. Swami, what he says is somebody who is lacking in something.
Yeah.
And he is suffering. For such a person, give.
So what Swami is saying is what is really required for a person who is lacking something to give that person what is the most lacking necessary, that is sattvic. That's all Swami is saying.
Most harmful to his progress is not given in Telugu.
The deficiency that is most harmful, that is not there. That's what it is. Deniyantu e vyakti shakti hinamai vyat. So because of what the person has become lacking strength, that has to be given to that person. I think that's what Swami says. So I think anyone else?
So the way that Karna would do charity, how he would just give anything to anyone who asked him, that's in a way it's not correct. Is that right?
See. So that's Karna is, he was so, and he was able to give, he was willing to give anything selflessly. That is Karna. I think he had some amount of selflessness as far as charity was concerned. In other areas may be different, but that's even son Indra came and asked him for his. He knew that he's going to be exposed to other dangers. He was willing to give that his own kavacham, which was born with, which was his protective armor. So to some extent, he was selfless. And I think when he gave, he didn't give it in public. I don't think he even told anyone that he give. So I think to a great extent, he was selfless. Should he have inquired, oh, Indra, why is he asking? Does he really need it? Maybe if he had done it, he would have saved himself. Possibly, I don't know.
Yeah, like did he more want to protect his name of being someone who's known for being charitable? And
I think that was a vrata he had, that was a vow which he wanted to follow at all costs. I think that was the way he approached it. I don't know whether he was, maybe we don't know.
Was there any reason why he took that vow, or this?
I don't know. That also I don't know. And what was the inspiration? If I'm not aware.
So, Sairam, brother, I'd like to add to the point too. The reason the Karna was given that one, he has a vow, I agree. At the same time, he thought, Lord itself come and asking something from me. So I'm very great for that one. I should give. That person, he was saying, because not a normal person asking. God is asking as a old person, as a Brahmin. So even though he's going to lose his armor and he's going to the important thing that cover his life, that charity, he did it because of that one too. Thank you, brother.
I think the Mahabharata's character, the Karna's character is that he give anybody ask anything. It's not like he looking for charity or nothing. Anybody ask, he doesn't want to say no. Whatever they ask, he wanted to give it. That's how his character was there. Nothing else, I think. Sarah.
Thank you, brother. Yes, Sai Satish.
So with of course one story that goes with Karna is he had taken that kind, I don't know if you can call it a vow, or a sankalpa, but after his morning prayers to sun god, whoever comes and asks, he will give away in charity. And from what goes is actually in like a trance, sun god already tells him beforehand that Lord Indra will come and ask for his Kavacha Kundala. So he's very well aware that the person who comes and asks for his Kavacha Kundala is Indra. But I think in terms of his sankalpa that he has taken, he is so bound to that he goes with the flow and with the full knowledge actually that it is the one who is asking for it is going to be the cause for his decline. He gives it away. That is, of course, one version of the story. But then if you look at it in light of how this character evolves, it is more like similar to Bhishma again, where that vow or sankalpa becomes more than anything else, rather than that liberating, that itself binds. So we can always see how a particular sadhana or a sankalpa or whatever or a vow that is taken, ultimately, I think in the larger framework of things, we should see, is it liberating or is it binding? And when it comes to a stage of liberating, then like what Lord Krishna, of course, he's beyond liberation. He's the one who confers liberation, where we know that same thing of how he just tossed aside his own vow of not taking weapons, right? The same thing applies. So the one who is able to trivialize that part and not feel that I have taken this vow, where the I becomes greater, I think that binds. Whereas if it is liberating, then I think it gets taken care of. So anything in this charity, again, Swami is saying that one who is not looking for that name and fame, as long as that charity is helping to dissolve the small I and only the capital I shows, then I think the charity in its gains full effulgence, or it becomes absolutely sacred. Any other trace of the person doing that, because we know, we say Dana Veera Shura Karna every time, that kind of a thing. So it's as much as the charity is given, the name and fame that comes back along with it also holds that character together. So I'm just trying to see that in light of Karna.
Thank you, Sai Satish. Sairam, sister Aruna.
Okay, Sairam, brother. Yeah, in addition to what brother Sai Satish was saying, and I was just looking at Karnan is giving whatever people ask for, but I don't think that is what Swami is. According to the sentence here, Swami is asking us to pondering over the place, time, nature. That doesn't mean you just do whoever ask. Just Swami didn't ask to give like that. And the school also, when you want to build, you have to do where is necessary, where is needed only. So what is Karnan is doing, I don't think that is his vow, that is his nature. That's why maybe Krishna, now I'm thinking, that's why maybe Krishna asked the last time, give that Kavasa, right? That's what I'm thinking. That's the reason would have been, because he's not thinking of where he to do the charity, where that kind of things is coming into my mind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sister. I think he did not discriminate. He did not discriminate who the recipient is. I think that's one of the reason, he was giving Duryodhana what he asked, whatever Duryodhana asked. So the thing is, I think he lacked some discrimination, because sometimes we think we are doing some good service, but we need to see which institutions are we propping up. There may be institutions which are charging a lot of money for education, and we are giving charity to such institutions. Then, these are things, it's like giving the rich more money, type of thing, because we want to be in their good books. Or we delude ourselves that we are propping up an institution to which we are bound, even if that institution may be misguiding people. I think these are things which people should use discrimination and know whether they are really serving the Lord or some individuals who are profiting by that.
In Vamana Avtaram,
Yes.
Bali Chakravarti did all the charity, but I think he had an eye for the position of the Indra. There, it differences you find. Yeah, without, he was aiming to become the next Indra. Indra is a position anybody could occupy. So he was doing charity in that, with that purpose in his mind. When Lord Vamana went and asked him for the 3 feet of land. Sairam.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Yes, Brother Thasan.
Sairam, brother, and just going back to the Karna, even though in the last minute he was doing the charity for the Lord Indra, but he was asking return of that whatever he gave that. He was asking some weapon from Lord Indra. Okay, I'll give this one, you give this one. So that promise was made, that deal. So I cannot take it as a charity, that that incident. So Indra gave the weapon, and he, then he gave the Kavasa Kundala. Thank you, brother Saira.
Okay, brothers. Thank you.
Sairam, again, brother. I was just, you had just a little more, and I just trying to understand a little more now because I never thought of this before. So it's coming to my mind now. Why Krishna asked from Karna that otherwise, don't you think the Krishna wouldn't have asked for it? Because I think now after Swami's words, like if you don't think over it, is right, brother? I'm just thinking because you have to know where you are serving. Don't encourage that's what Swami is saying, right? You have to know the ponder over the time, nature, who is receiving it. That kind of sense we have to have it. So that is something I'm so all this time I was thinking, Karna, why Krishna did this or like that. I will think like that. But today Swami is clearly saying that how to do the charity, and we have to have some kind of discrimination before we do anything. Yes, yes, Auntie. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you, sister. Brother Sai Satish.
Hi, Ramana. I just wanted to clarify with what Brother Thasan was saying. Um, so it was not a exchange, brother. Like Karna didn't strike a bargain saying that you give me Shakti, I will give you Kavacha Kundalam.
Yeah,
He gave it out of his own thing of that sankalpa or vow that he took. He gave it out of that, and Indra was so pleased with that. He said, like, you very well knew that I was going to come and ask for it, but yet you gave it, and out of that immense, he's moved by that act of charity that he gives him Shakti, and he says that you can use it only once, and once you use it, it'll come back to you. So at that time, I think the initial, I don't think he asked for it and then gave. He gave, and out of that giving, I think when the ask came, he could take that weapon. So just clarifying that piece. Yeah.
Yes, so I Satish, I'm very happy that you clarified that one. I can remember that I read in a book he asked something like that. Then
no,
only to raise that whatever the mark supposed to be in the Kavasakundara, once you remove that has to go, and he requested that particular weapon, and then Indra said, "Okay, I can give to you. Then once it's used, it will come back to me."
no, I don't think so.
Okay, then.
So, brother, it all depends which book you are quoting.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Satish.
Because what has happened is the original Mahabharata, and then there are multiple versions people have also written. So sometimes things can be a bit clouded. Okay, so we will, if there's no other point from anyone, maybe we can move.
So
And okay, Kalyan, go ahead.
you go ahead, Auntie.
While doing the danam, even the left hand should not know while you're doing with the right hand. That's what we have heard. I think our Puranas also said the same. While you're doing the danam, even the left hand need not know what you're doing, giving. That's how danam should be done. Charity should be done. Saira.
Saira. I think we see Swami has very clearly stated how Karna means we can discuss to some extent, but I think we should just take what Swami has said, I think, clearly as a clear instruction and move. Yes, Kalyani, you have asked.
Yeah, so I guess I guess what we should understand is that we shouldn't kind of just give to anyone and anyone. Is that correct? And we do have to evaluate the recipient in some way.
Yeah, even seva, sometimes we do seva and we say we are doing seva for Swami, and we should know where we are doing. Who is, are we popping up the wrong place or right place? That also we should. I think it's important we use discrimination. Swami is clearly stating that.
But I guess that discrimination should not be coming from a selfish place. It should be more about what does that recipient really need.
Yes. Because sometimes we are worried about others others' opinion of us, Swami says, even that should not be looked at. Padimanti Swami says, 10 people should think that we are good or something.
Or like even the thought that, oh, like I don't want the money that I'm giving to be misused by that person. But even that thought should not be there. Like it should be more about that person and whether that's good for them.
Oh. So what you're saying is that person is deserving, but if we give, that person may misuse, we should not worry about that. Is that right?
Yeah, like I'm just saying, in what sense should we be discriminating? Because I feel like sometimes it's easy to discriminate on the basis of, okay, like, well, this is my money and I don't want it to be misused. So I have to evaluate this person. Are they worthy of my charity? That kind of seems a little.
Maybe not here, but generally Swami says money should not be given as charity. Swami is very particular. You should not hand somebody money. For example, if somebody doesn't have, is not having education, pay their school fees. Buy them books. Give them food. Swami would say, give them something. Don't give to someone money which they may misuse.
They may misuse.
I think that Swami would. So I think there are other discourses where Swami has talked about that. If somebody doesn't have food, don't give them money and say, go buy food. You cook and serve. Or you buy food and give. That's what Swami would say.
Okay.
Maybe shall we move on?
Charity should be given with reverence and faith. It should not just be thrown at the face of the recipient, nor should it be given to an undeserving person or at an inopportune moment. Food for the overfed is a burden, not a boon. Hospitals in places that are inaccessible are as good as charity thrown away. Such benefitless and wasteful charity is called tamasic. While engaged in dana or charity, one has to be very vigilant. You should not scatter it to whomsoever pleads for it, nor can you shower it on all kinds of places. Be careful that you remember the 3 types mentioned by me, and then do as seems most proper. The gift you make must not be for name or fame. It should have no motive of pomp or publicity. It should be purposeful and useful. In all acts, the sattvic attitude is best. This attitude must permeate all things seen, heard, and spoken. Arjuna, who was listening with the head bent and with great concentration to all this, drinking in the sweetness of the Lord's countenance, asked him thus, what exactly is true listening and true seeing? Please tell me this in some detail. I can then follow the instruction. He prayed to Krishna in such a pleading tone that the Lord smiled kindly at him.
సత్కార పూర్వకము కాక తిరస్కార భావముతో దానమునకు తగిన వ్యక్తికి కానీ సత్కార పూర్వకము కాక తిరస్కార భావముతో.
So Swami is saying Satkara Purvak means with the intention of doing something good, and Tiraskara means negligently or carelessly.
You're giving.
Without giving like that.
తగని వ్యక్తికి కానీ స్థానమునకు కానీ.
So to give for someone who is undeserving or in a situation which is not undeserving.
తిండి తీర్థములకు కొదువలేని స్థానమున అన్నదానము.
So giving food in a place, food and drink in a place where
there is plenty.
There's plenty.
తగని స్థానమే అగును. తగని స్థానమే అగును.
That will be a place which is undeserving.
రోగులు వెళ్ళుటకు సాధ్యము కాని ప్రదేశముల్లో వైద్యాలయములు నిర్మించుట.
So establishing hospitals in places which are not accessible to people who are deceased.
వృథయే అగును.
It'll be a waste.
కడుపు నిండుగా తిని కదలలేని వానికి అన్నము ఉదర భారము అనిపించును.
So people who have already eaten to the fill, for such people giving food is like burdening them with something.
వానికి అవసరము లేని దానిని వాడు పొందియో దుర్వినియోగపరచును.
So giving it to somebody who doesn't need something, and that person will they may misuse it.
కాన ఇట్టి సార్థకము కాని దానములు తామసికమని అందురు.
This kind of meaningless charity are called tamasic charities.
బావా, దానమును జాగ్రత్తగా మెలుగవలసి ఉండును.
My dear brother-in-law, charity should be carefully done.
ఊరికే అడిగిన వారందరికీ తలంచే స్థానములన్నింటి యందు దాన ధర్మము చేయరాదు.
Just because someone asks, or whenever whim, according to your whim, at different places, you should not do charity.
అట్లు చేయతలచిన పై చెప్పిన రాజసిక, తామసిక, సాత్వికముల్లో దేనికి సంబంధించున్నదో యోచించి చేయవలెను.
So in the manner in which it has been stated above, one should consider whether they're rajasic, tamasic and sattvic, and what their relationship, that has to be pondered over, and then one should do charity.
సుమా పేరు ప్రతిష్టలకు గాని ఆటంబరములకు గాని,
so just for the sake of name and fame, or just to show off,
ప్రయోజనానికి కాని అయి ఉండకూడదు.
and for that which is useless, it should not be done.
అన్ని ప్రవృత్తల యందును సాత్వికము చాలా పవిత్రము.
In all activities or conduct, sattvic is very important.
అనగా దృష్టి యందు కాని, శ్రవణమందు కాని, వాక్కులందు కాని సాత్వికమై ఉండవలని దీని భావము.
That means in your vision, in your listening, in your speech, sattvic nature should be there present.
ఏకాగ్రచిత్తుడై తల వంచి వింటూ ఉండిన అర్జునుడు తల ఎత్తి కృష్ణుని సుందర మోమును చూచుచు.
So Arjuna, who was listening with one-pointed attention, with his head bent, lifts his head up and looks at the beautiful form of Krishna, face of Krishna.
స్వామి, మనోసత్వము, వాక్సత్వము, దేహసత్వము, దానవత్వము తెలిపిరి.
Oh Swami, you told me about the sattvic nature of the mind, sattvic nature of the speech, sattvic nature of the body, and also sattvic nature of charity.
శ్రవణ సత్వము, దృష్టి సత్వము తెలుపలేదు.
You have not told me about the sattvic nature of listening and sattvic nature of seeing.
తెలుపలేదే లేదు. దయయుంచి వాటి పవిత్రతను గూర్చి సెలవిచ్చిన.
So you have not told me about this. If you take compassion on me, and if you can elaborate on the sacredness of these.
ప్రయత్నమున ఆచరించగలను. I will ప్రయత్నమున ఆచరించగలను.
I will be able to make effort and practice them.
అని ఆశా కిరణములు ప్రయత్నం ఆచరించు అని ఆశా కిరణములు వెదజల్లు ముఖ వర్చస్సుతో.
So with desire and yearning, which is expressed in his face,
వర్చస్తో కృష్ణుని ప్రసన్నగునట్లు ప్రార్థించినాడు.
So he, in a pleasing way to even Krishna, he prayed.
కృష్ణుడు చిరునవ్వులు చిందులాడ అర్జునులకు వివరించను.
So Krishna, with a smiling face, a smile dancing on his face, with keeping his hand on Arjuna's shoulder, said so.
చిరునవ్వులు చిందులాడ అర్జునుకు వివరించను. దట్స్ ఆల్.
ಈಗ ಭುಜమున హస్తముంచి
అది చొల్లలియంగే.
ఇది లేని versionలో ఇருக்கு.
I think you have got that translation.
I think maybe it's in there. So Krishna is sort of summarized. Arjuna summarizes what Krishna told, and also asked for clarification of the two things which he talked about, which is that attitude should be in what is seen and what is heard. So he's asking about that.
శ్రవణ సత్వము దృష్టి సత్వము.
The last line you were saying, keeping his hand on Arjuna's shoulder?
No, actually, maybe in the next English, maybe in the next page.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's in the Krishna patted Arjuna on the back or something like that is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we went over. So Swami is talking about, we should not be charity, which should be tamasic in nature. That's feeding the people who are already well fed, and doing things which may be of no use to people because they cannot access it. So, which are waste. That's what Swami says.
The first sentence, satkara purvakamu. So is it saying with the intention of doing something good? We should not be having that? Is that right?
I think, which, see, Swami, Auntie, please, can you explain, Auntie?
Satkara, tiraskara, they are opposites.
Oh.
Tiraskara means with a reluctant attitude, with a kind of, you're not willing to give.
Oh.
You are negligent about giving, just giving like that. No, you should not do that. Satkara, satkaro purvakamu kaka. If you are giving, give it with good satkara. What? How can you?
Sister Shilpa has put a note saying it's pure-hearted.
Okay.
So purvaka means that's the intention. Okay, that which actually impels you to certain action.
Yeah.
So the intentions and that which impels you to action should be satkara, which is which willing to do something good.
Willing to.
Okay, whereas tiraskara means carelessly, you don't care, you want to throw something away, type of feeling. In Tamil they will say venda varuppu.
Venda varuppu.
So you don't want to, you don't intend to do, but you still do. Okay, that kind of feeling is tiraskara. Means, for example, a beggar asks you money. Okay, you want that person, you want to get rid of the person, you give money. You really don't wish, you don't want the trouble. You give money and say, you please get lost.
Go away.
And that is called tiraskara. So you just, that is not charity, but you can tell, I gave that fellow money, but you really gave money because to get rid of the person.
Shraddhaya deyam. Here I think it.
Yes.
Ashraddhaya
adeyam.
Ashraddhaya adeyam. Correct. Adeyam.
Don't give it ashraddha. It's Shraddhaya deyam, Ashraddhaya deyam. See, Swami basically takes Upanishads and gives it to us here.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Brother Sai Ram, see, Swami said not to give to the people, whomever you pleads, right? Or no shower is in it on all kinds of places. What is that? All kinds of places. I know one thing. I know I always want. Now I got an answer in Prashanti Nilayam. You are not supposed to give people money, kind of like. But any other places that with any other things related to that?
It's like, sister, people, who have already food at home. If you cook food and take to them, it's tamasic.
Superfluous. What is good?
Okay.
That's fair. That's what I understand, sister.
அது சரியானது இப்ப பார்க்கணும்.
Aruna, which sentence you are referring to?
Places mean I can understand in Patti they don't encourage to give anybody come and ask you money, you are not supposed to give.
No.
But that is for a reason, they don't want to encourage. Any other reason behind of it not to give? It's also tamasic. I'm just thinking it's kind of, there's no need. The places Swami is referring where the need is not there, you don't go and serve, right? That kind of place, right? Okay, thank you.
Sai
Not
Ram, can
any
I say
other
something?
any other like places, like a building or places he's referring, just the intention, right? Where
So the place, sister, in Sanskrit, desha kala paristiti. That means when you say place, in English it does not bring about the proper meaning. It means the circumstances, not a specific place.
places, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Time and place. When you say time and place, means time and circumstances, place.
Yes.
Okay.
Now clear. Okay, great, thanks.
Desha kala paristiti. Yes, I think Sister Shilpa wanted to say something.
Sai Ram, if a poor boy reads books, if you provide money to their parents, what would they do? Maybe their requirement is different. They put money towards their things instead of book. It might happen, or he's orphan and living with someone else. They might use money, but if you give books to their kids, that will help to study, right? If you give donation to libraries, there will be more books, and some school needs tools for research. It will be helpful. Like that's why instead of instead of giving money, we can give the money, provide the things where it needed. That's what I wanted to say. And the satkar, there was a question I forgot what word was used, but the story behind it, that when you give someone something with respect, don't let that person feel that you are giving. Your eyes should be down, because there was a story of one king when he was donating to poor, his eyes was always down, and his other people surrounded by him asked, why your eyes are always down? He says, I am giving because God has given me. It is not what I have earned. It's my destiny also written by God. Then it is nothing is mine. What can I give? Even the body is given by the God. Saira.
Thank you very much, sister. Yes, Brother Sai Satish.
Ramana. So, like we have Dan, Vastu Dan, then we have Shram Dan. So, in terms of giving money, that is Danadan, or Vastu Dan is like giving, you can give objects, clothes and things of that kind. And Shram Dan is where we are giving the effort. So, when we go into the second and third, it literally comes into understanding what the recipient really needs. Walking down, because the easiest thing is to pull out a couple of dollar bills and then drop it off in the person's hand, versus really understanding what they need, going down that path and then giving exactly what is needed. And then I know there's one earlier, I think this incident also where in the interview room, there is one lady who keeps telling Swami about the charity that she's doing and all of this. And Swami initially sidelines her, he doesn't pay attention, but this lady keeps bringing up this topic again and again and again. And then Swami suddenly stops her and then says, do you know what kind of charity you have done? You have given that 2 rupees rice, the rice that comes for 2 rupees per kg to the people whom you have done Narayan Seva versus what you have at home for yourself and your family. And literally Swami has, I think, shown to that person the kind of rice that was given to those people, which had a lot of stones and other things as part of the rice. So when actually, if the problem of the charity thing comes when the whole thing is looked at from the point of what I am gaining from it at the worldly level versus what I am truly gaining at the spiritual level. Because if we look at it, it is actually a huge opportunity for us to get the joy in serving, and getting that the other person is actually creating an opportunity for us to be a part of that service or charity or whatever, which is actually benefiting us. So every time when we are, whatever, even if we are calling that charity or seva, whatever we are doing, if we are, when we are in that position of giving, if we feel actually, thank you Swami, because I am receiving in this process of giving what little you have given to me that I'm sharing, I think it changes the understanding of what charity is. And that's where Swami is, I think, coming from, not looking at name and fame, because it confers immense satisfaction while being engaged in that activity. So if it is looked at from that angle, I think really the person who is thinking that he is doing charity is actually the beneficiary, because it confers upon them immense joy and satisfaction when they are really part of it, rather than just giving some money and then not really being involved in it.
Thank you, Sai Satish. Thanks.
When you are doing charity to others, it is that service which you are doing to others, it is service to your own self. If you find that self in all, you are serving your own self by serving others. Swami has been saying this. Sai Ram.
Thank you, Auntie. Yes.
Kalyani.
Sir.
Yes, Sairam, brother. So when you are doing the charity and service, or when you are giving food, and we don't, the person is hungry, we don't look at the person is rich or poor. We provide the food, and rest of the items we have to use our discriminating power or viveka in other service and charity. Thank you, Bhagawan.
Sairam. Yes, Kalyani.
Just, I guess how we were talking about service is more than just money, or charity is more than just charity of money, but also your time and effort. So if we consider this in the context of our families, and say you have a duty to serve people in your family, but then if you think that maybe they're asking too much of you or something like that, then like, is it because can you ration your charity in that way as well, because you think that person should also learn and should also
No.
Good question, Kalyani. So I will open it up for others to share their thoughts. How do we manage charity at home? That's the question. When we are in a relation, we have a duty for people at home. So how do we distinguish charity versus duty? Yes, Sister Aruna, you raised your hand.
Brother,
Okay.
I was asking a question because just not to the answer for the, I'm just thinking what Kalyani's question is, but I'm thinking about the money giving as a donation, right? that why it's not, what circumstances it cannot be considered as a charity, and what circumstances we can consider as a charity, because money is not, we cannot say we cannot use it for charity. Am I right? That part I wanted to discuss
Okay,
later.
we'll later, sister.
Yeah, later.
So
Yeah.
we'll just discuss what Kalyani has asked. How do we deal with situations at home with our family, where if we have to do our duty, we have to do things for them. But when will it become charity, and is that charity good? Where do we draw the line? I think Sister Shilpa would like to. Or Sister Shiva.
Sairam,
Yes, Sister Shilpa, go ahead.
Sairam, at home, everyone, most of the people, most of us, we have elders at home. We can take them for a walk. We can feed them. We can ask them what would they like to do. Even reading. Yes, I am unable to go due to my work, but I read. I read to someone who is unable to read. His eyes or her eyes are they are 92 plus. They cannot read, right? And they were hospitalized. So I called them and I read Swami's book, Satcharitra, to them every day, 2 chapters. I am committed. And this is how we can do at home. We can read scripture. We can send even bhajans or sing a bhajan for someone at home. Or we can pick the groceries for elders. Or we can feed them. We can take them for a walk. We can our time is the best thing if it comes for family. And of course, we take care of kids so they can do their chores. So this is what I am following. There are small needs of elders. Even working son or daughter, if you take care of their kids, they can do more. They can go and serve people if they are. It's not about educated, but whatever work they are doing, do with seva. Whatever comes, if you make food for your family, just put that those prayers in the food that become our sattvic food and give us good thoughts and actions. There are so many ways to help family, and yes, whatever we can do, offering to the God, whatever work we are doing, chopping the vegetables, say chopping our ego, right? If you are stirring something, stir the prayers in your head and let it vibe. Keep your prayers out loud so they can listen if they have listening problem, or teach them use the technology. They can go on Zoom, and even how I am listening you, elders can listen you. Saira.
Thank you very much, Sister. Sister Shivani, please.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
So, Kalyani, you want to repeat the question?
I thought you can rephrase it. You can do it.
Okay. So, Kalyani's question is, see, in the concept of charity, at home, we have a duty for people around, and when there's a definite need, we have to help them and serve them. But then at times, there are situations when these family members or your children or your parents or your uncle and aunt, whoever it is, sometimes they demand things which may not be necessity for them. So then, how do we deal with that? Should we consider them as charity and uh, help them or give them whatever they demand from us, even when we know it may not be necessary? And how do we differentiate or distinguish these situations and in this context of charity? So would we be giving them charity and we spoil them, or we should help them to help themselves? How do we deal with that is the question. Kalyani, I don't know. I
Yes.
sort of, I did a commentary on your question, but I hope. Okay.
You know, Sai Ram, I don't know if I'm making some sense. It's like your kids ask you certain things and you know it's not good. And you have a duty or it's a service, you can say they need proper education, they need your help, the guidance, whatever. Of course, they're different, they are soul by itself. But we know at our point that they don't need it. It's not good for it. We don't give them, right? We don't give them car before 18 years or until they get a license or something. We know it's dangerous for them. So as based on the readings, it's where the need is. That's what I think, that's the biggest message which is coming, which was, I knew the money should not be there. But what is coming is you have to be very conscious from the reading where the need is. So if there's no need, yeah, let people can ask. If it's not good for them, it's not good for them. And as people age, I know my father-in-law is aging, and then he asks certain things, and we know is not good for them. We don't give him. He doesn't want to do certain things. So it's not disrespectful, but we know it's not good for him. So, elderly, we treat him like a child as well, and we divert his attention to some. We have different strategies. I mean, there's so many brains around it. How not to disrespect him, how to not to ignore him, so he doesn't feel little low. But there's so many other ways that we are distracting him. What he asks, we don't give him. Sorry, yeah, I'm just talking in our context. How my dear father-in-law, lovely father-in-law, how he asks certain things, but we know it's not good for him now. And same with kids. But in a nutshell, just to add to that, it's a very good question. What I interpreted is that how we distinguish between duty and seva. And I was just thinking there is no difference. Actually, when we do seva, it's a part of our duty to the mankind. We should not take it, I'm doing a favor or it's a sattvic. I think our existence is that we have to feed each other. We have to look into the community where the need is. It's our duty as a human being to serve people. So whether it's at home, people we are living, or outside, or in the different world, it's our duty or dharma in a right.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you. Sister Aruna.
Saram, brother, I have reminded about that Swami's quotation again. The duty without love is deplorable. Duty with love is desirable. Love without duty. So it's divine, right? Even at home, we have to do it without the conscious of duty. So it's applicable everywhere. So wherever you had to do, that's now you only have to see which one will please the Lord, and accordingly that only. If you take it as a duty and do it, I don't think that is please the Lord. So we have to see from every situation, you have to analyze yourself and do it kind of only, I would say. And only at the end, Swami says, love without duty is divine. So
can you expand on what is love without duty, sister?
See, my home, my thing, all my thing I wanted to do, and that is you define to yourself that is as a duty. Sometimes that's our nature, right? This is kind of like, so you can say like your child and other child is same, that kind of mentality. So your child is not you have to look at the other child also like your child and see what you can do. That's how we have to progress.
So that is divine, sister?
Which one is divine?
You said love without duty is divine.
Yes, love without duty. So you do without a conscious of duty, do with love. So if you define this home is only the place to do your duty, that is not, you shouldn't think like that. I'm thinking to myself. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. Yes, Brother Dasan.
Yes, Saram, brother. Trust me, I'm not going to take the time. So once we get married, we always sacrifice our time, money, so and so. But when the requests come, you have to evaluate whether it's a sattvic request or tamas request. For an example, if your kid's asking, I need a luxury car, so immediately you have to reject it. It's a tamas request. So evaluate and you can help according to that. Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much, brother. So, Kalyani, you're okay with the answers? I guess you still have.
I want to say something.
Yes, Auntie, please go ahead.
Sometimes members of the family, even though they are capable of doing things on their own, they demand. The demand is so much that, it puts a pressure on us. At that time, you may not be very willing to do that job, though, because they're capable of doing it for themselves. They can do, but still, they demand that, saying that you do this for me. And such situations, I don't know how to behave. Sorry, go ahead, Arun.
It'll become Tiraskaram, Auntie.
Yeah. but
That's right. Yeah.
if the person is capable of doing that job on his own or on our own, why should they ask? That's because, demanding. You do for me. I don't think that is.
So I think Kalyani's question is, in such situations, we complying with the request, will it turn out to be tamasic? I think that is ultimately the question.
Yes.
Okay. So the thing is, should we avoid such tamasic situations?
By all means.
Okay.
So,
so I think that's
but at home you remain with others, you stay with others. How can you just say
Auntie, just say Om Sai Ram, and just keep doing the person.
I think this is a universal problem, but I think it's a very good question. I think we should be conscious. It will be our duty to set things right. I know Aruna doesn't like that term duty, but
sometimes
it is our duty to make sure that they become independent, they become self-dependent, because in one discourse Swami is saying the best, most spiritual activity is to make someone stand on their own feet.
Yeah.
Swami says education itself should be such, we should make everyone stand on their own feet. If the education does not make somebody stand on their own feet, then that is not true education at all. So I think I think it becomes duty, if you want to put, it's love.
It's
to
love.
make sure that somebody knows how to stand on their own feet. Otherwise, whatever we are doing is actually tamasic in nature.
Oh, now I remember a situation. I totally forgot. You're intelligent, actually. I had a situation where somebody was migrated to Canada and she was living with me. Didn't even move a glass of water, and I was doing everything. And when I kind of politely said, hey, you can help and all of that, there was conflict. And then I said, okay, I don't want any conflict in this house. This house is my mandir. Let me just do it. And I did, because she lived with me 2 or 3 months. But it created chaos. It created little conflict. And I said, no, I don't want to have this conflict in the house. Because I knew the person's mentality, but I can't change people. Full stop. I couldn't change. Now I remember, yes, you read. Oh, I totally forgot about it, actually. Yeah, but I did something wrong, because I said, okay, I'm not going to create. I'm not going to, bring all these guys in the. It would have gone a little bad. So I said, oh, it's just a little body. If I'll do a little more work, what's a big deal about it? I'm just serving people and just maintain peace in the house. I think that was my mentality. I went in the altar and I said, Bhagawan, I'm just going to keep, just peace in the house. Everybody's happy if I do a little extra work. Did I do something wrong?
No.
Yeah, that's exactly this, like, what I'm asking, because it seems like a balance, like, because you don't want to, because maybe you've tried to teach the other person or tell them, but if they're still, not able to do it, then do we consider they're just unable? Like, maybe they're physically able, but at some other level they're unable, and so we're helping them, or are we not helping them ultimately? I don't know.
My mother-in-law told me, okay, Shivani, you know what? You distribute a days when you cook and the person cooks. So I said, okay. And then it was getting a little out of hand. So I said, oh, not a big deal. Shivani, cook for another day. It's not a big deal. So you're right. So I tried very humbly, politely, not to teach, you're not able to. but it'll be great that if you can help, because I'm working and all, but people can't see, you know, whatever the past karmas or whatever it is, people sometimes not able to see the right thing, right? So it's not their fault, whatever it is. Did I do something wrong?
So I think, sister, it's 4:30.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, you know, from my personal experience, I will tell that in such situations, a short term of peacelessness is beneficial for both sides. Okay, so that should not be construed as peacelessness, because we are shying away because of our fear of sounding rude or whatever. But sometimes dana danda beda is
Samadhana Beda Danda.
dana will not work, dana also will not work. When dana is not possible, danda and beda are the solutions. Okay. They are Sanatana Dharma's prescribed techniques.
Okay.
But you see, ultimately, are you in peace is what matters.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wasn't
That's all matters. Okay, we will close and we will come back hopefully peacefully next next week.
Sairam, brother. So
Yes,
on
brother.
the Veda, you're supposed to be strong too.
Pardon?
On the Veda, you have to be strong also.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, brother.
Sairam.
okay.
Sairam, we'll close with Samastaloka. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone.
Sairam.
Sairam.
Before closing, I would like to
Yes, sir.
let us decide that next book, next Vahini, what we are going to study, because it's the last chapter we have come to.
Yeah, so we welcome suggestions from everyone as to what the next Vahini should be.
Yeah.
So I'm okay anyway, brother.
Sairam. No, if you have anything specific, please let us know. Sairam.
Sairam.
Okay. Sairam.
Sairam.